Yeah, this is a very controversial topic, super controversial. So I might upset some of my fellow colleagues and friends and people who I love and respect, but I have to give you my experience. And my experience is that I don't like PDO threads. PDO threads are barbed sutures that go into the face in different vectors. And so they're designed to catch tissue at different planes, and you tie them up in little areas and kind of tighten them and try to really lift this tissue up. So they're technically absorbable, but we'll talk about that. PDO threads uses a cannula. That's something I use all the time. So I knew when I was picking this technique and this new procedure up that it wouldn't be something that was a big learning curve for me. So I made sure to go to the best PDO experts, and I have done so many cases with PDO threads. I gave it my all. I made sure that if I was gonna bring on this service, it was gonna be because it was the best service. When I see people back from other people who do PDO threads, I don't see a result. There's no result, especially in the temple area. So, you know, lifting and doing this cat eye look, you might see a before and after that looks this kind of like snatch look, but they fall. So unless your PDO thread injector is tying it into what they call anchoring it into a muscle, which is extremely rare. Most people don't do that because it's very painful. It's quite invasive, actually. And there's very few people doing this. And I assume that, you know, the people that are out there doing PDO threads are not anchoring. And I'm not advocating for anchoring. I'm just saying that if you don't anchor, which most people don't, it's gonna fall. So what I find in my experience is people will miss that tight, pulled back, retracted look, and they end up basically going for a facelift pretty quickly then. I call it the runway to a facelift. So a couple of things about PDO threads we should all know about is infection, disengagement of the thread. So if the thread moves around, that's a problem. You can't really take those threads out. They're barbed and they're really buried into the skin. Dimpling, rimpling, you know, retraction, pain when you smile, discomfort when you smile. And I have some plastic surgeon friends who communicate with me when they're doing facelift, and their threads were years ago, they still see somewhat like fishing line. So they are supposed to be absorbable, but some people are holding on to this material for longer. So it can turn out to where it's actually like a fishing wire over time in the face. I wanted to bring threads on because I get so many questions about threads, and it would be something that I could easily bring on because I have done them. People ask about them, but I, as you guys know, I'm very picky about what I bring on here. So I am not a fan of PDO threads. Like I said, super controversial. I know that this is gonna upset some of my friends and colleagues, and I respect, one of my best friends actually loves PDO threads. I can't get there with her. So if you come in and you ask for PDO threads, the only threads that I ever like is the baby smooth ones. So those are for like little wrinkles around the mouth. Those are for a little bit of texture here. We use the threads for tightening the neck. They're very, very small. They're called smooth threads or mono threads. They go in and they help build collagen in the areas that you put them, and they don't have barbs, and they aren't this aggressive style lifting. It is important if you are going to somebody for threads, make sure you're a good candidate for something like this. If you have a lot of tissue, heavier tissue, those barbed threads aren't gonna be able to hold that tissue. So it might look good immediately after. And I do believe that some benefit can happen with threads over time where you can develop, you know, what they say, hyaluronic acid, things like that. This is all anecdotal. There's no studies to show and prove that that is the case. There are some people who would look good with threads. Someone who already has, let's say, tight skin that just wants to keep it tight. Somebody who wants to maintain themselves, fine. But just know going in that there are these risks, and sometimes these risks are not worth the benefit. So when you're looking at weighing the risks and the benefits, for me, the benefits don't outweigh the risks when it comes to PDO threads. So when you come to us, and if you do one of these, and you show me what you really want by lifting your hands and lifting the tissue, you're likely a candidate for a facelift. Don't waste your money, don't waste your time, don't take on the risk. Go ahead and consider that facelift. If you don't want a facelift, then consider devices that tighten the skin. I don't think you'll be happy with PDO threads. I just don't. Most people are not, and they say that they would never do them again, and that they don't feel like they saw a result for the money that they spent and the actual pain that they went through. I'm sorry to all my friends who do them. I really, I wanted to love them. I wish I could have loved them. I took my entire box of threads and I chucked them in the trash. But at my core, would I do it to my own face? No, the answer is no. I wouldn't do it to my own face. Again, there are some people out there who have done threads, who have great results, who love them. It's just not for me in the office here. We don't just follow the next trend here. It's really important for me to make sure that whatever it is that we bring into the office, that it works, it's reliable, it's safe, it's good results. So we don't just bring on the next thing that's out. When you come in, we're gonna look at you and assess you. If I think you're more of a candidate for a facelift, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. If you tell me that you don't want a facelift, then I will go ahead and create a plan, a customized plan that can help you get to the goals as long as you have realistic expectations. If you get a facelift, it doesn't mean that you're finished. You still have to maintain that facelift. You also still want to go into the facelift with the best skin that you possibly can and the most amount of collagen production. So prior to facelift, I'll discuss with you things that we can do to help you look better after the facelift. Post facelift, we'll talk about how to maintain your facelift. How can we actually take what you had, you just removed the skin, you didn't change the skin, you didn't help with the fat pads, you didn't help with the ligaments, the bone loss. So all that is stuff that we do after your facelift and before your facelift. So these are things that we'll talk about, and I am very, very straightforward. I want you to know that when you come in, I am honest. I want to make sure that you're getting the best result possible for what you're going to do here. So like I said, if you're a candidate for Sculptra, if you're a candidate for facelift, if you're a candidate for the lasers, we'll talk. But again, I wish I could love PDO threads more. I'm not a fan.